Ohio State outlasted USC in a win that showed resilience and poise down the stretch.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans. Coming at you live after Ohio State's 89-82 win over USC. This is Locked On Buckeyes, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Now the number one sports podcast network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, Veteran Sports Talk host, delivering passionate coverage about your Buckeyes. And during this reaction show, we will discuss how the Buckeyes maintain their momentum heading into Saturday's showdown with Virginia. But first, what we got tonight was exactly what Ohio State needed in a must-win game and a winnable game down the stretch. The Buckeyes went into the game against USC. They were the favorite to win the game. They're at home. USC is in a different time zone, multiple time zones away from home. Everything's different for USC, and it kind of showed up in the way they shot down the stretch and how some of their decision-making and even poor shooting may have been a factor because of being away from home. Now, granted, they're not a great shooting team to begin with, and Ohio State took advantage of that. In the first half, Ohio State wasn't really shooting the ball well themselves, taking some poor shots. The decisions they were making weren't really crisp. But in the second half, they really kind of settled in. Puff Johnson made some big shots, one of the left corner, and then one at the top of the top. And those big threes kind of sparked the Buckeyes and allowed them to build momentum and to build confidence down the stretch. And as they say in the locker room after the game, our honor and defend will fight to the end. That's exactly what the Buckeyes did. The Buckeyes made sure that at home in a winnable game, they fought. They were gritty, and they did not fold, even making their final four shots of 5 attempts down the stretch. They made sure that defensively they stiffened up. They made things difficult. They got some key steals and easy baskets that made things easier for them, and the result was exactly what you want if you're a Buckeye fan. The Buckeyes now have 16 wins. Remember, the number you're looking for, the sweet spot is 20. It's going to get hard to get 20 with 7 games left in the regular season. I don't think what happens in the conference tournament really impacts their chance of getting into the big dance. Now, granted, if you win the Big Ten tournament, you're automatically in the NCAA tournament. But then also you would have proven that you're going to get that far. But I'm saying most of the time, with the way Ohio State's played, you have to do everything in your power in the regular season to make sure you get in. What happens in the conference tournament, they can take it into account or they don't have to. But hats off to Bruce Thornton. Hats off to everybody on this team for really getting the job done. Jake Diebler kind of did what Jake Diebler does. And we're going to talk more about that tomorrow at our afternoon show about some things Jake Diebler can do down the stretch to make sure Ohio State is able and is a lock to get into the NCAA tournament. They weren't going away. They knew what happened in the first half, and they didn't let their poor shooting and some of their poor defense. Their defense was really bad early on. They got off to a very slow start, couldn't get anything going. It was almost a team that had no juice, had no energy. And I'm sitting here thinking, are they ever going to wake up? Are they ever going to go all out and raise their level of play and really put on a show in front of their home crowd? Is that going to happen tonight? Because ultimately at the time, I didn't believe so. I didn't believe they were going to be able to get the juice and dig deeper because that hasn't been the tune of this team lately. The team doesn't really close out games strong. They don't figure out ways to overcome their own personal setbacks and their errors in a game. But they did it today. Shooting for the game, 50%. I believe they were under 40% for shooting in the first half. The bench is something we are always looking for and looking to see how many points they get off the bench. 16 points collectively between Chapman, Cups, Puff Johnson, and in Govan. Finally got that last thing correct. Good for them. Points in the paint were up. They were -4 in that category, but when you get 26 points in the paint with this team, you got to be pretty pleased with it, with how they have played. They tied in the rebound battle, which is also very big. They had 6 second chance points, 8 fast break points. You can complain about some of the things. They did outscore USC by 10, 49-39 in the second half. And so they didn't allow things to happen in the first half, set them back. They did what was needed, even getting some guys in foul trouble. Puff Johnson had 4 fouls in his 15 minutes that he played. Mobley Jr., Bynum had 3. Bruce Thornton had 3. Of course, Tilly's always going to be in foul trouble, so that's expected at some point in time. But he only had 3. He didn't have the 4 that maybe you expect. But hats off to everybody. He had 4 guys in double figures. Devin Royal was a leading scorer with 19 points. Bruce Thornton was the leading scorer for the team with 21 points. Devin Royal added in 19, Mobley with 13, and then Amari Bynum with 11. He had a big 3 and had a poster dunk. Devin Royal had one as well, a 2-hand dunk off the baseline in somebody's face. The fire that they're playing with, the ability to dig deep in a moment where you had to. You don't want to go into the game against Virginia after losing this game, after losing to Michigan, and thinking, is there a way for us to get to the big dance? Well, there is, but we're making it very hard for ourselves. We're making it hard for us to get to where we want to be. You have to be very pleased with how the Buckeyes played today, how they kind of did things that weren't the norm for this team late in the season to grind out and outlast a USC team that is even with Ohio State. Now I look at USC and I'm thinking, y'all, you guys can score. Govan Arenas' son, really good ball player. That a few other guys that are really good ball players, but they can score. But Ohio State has comparable talent. When you're at home in this environment, in these scenarios where travel is an issue, you would think they would be able to win, and they did. The Buckeyes had a 7-point win over USC. They now have 16 wins on the season, trying to secure 4 more wins in their final 7 regular season games to be a team that's on the bubble, but more so in the last 4 in instead of the first 4 out of the big dance. How can Ohio State maintain their momentum heading into the game against Virginia on Saturday night? We will discuss that after the break. This episode is brought to you by Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually help your business move forward. And if you want candidates who match what you're looking for, Indeed Sponsored Jobs is the move. Because instead of hoping the right person stumbles across your post, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listings to the people who fit your specific criteria, like skills, certifications, and location. If I were hiring, I wouldn't just want someone who can help. I'd want someone with real experience who can jump right in. That's what I like about Indeed. You can get specific and target exactly what you need. It saves time because you're spending less energy sorting through mismatches. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. This episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. The winter games are officially here, and if you're anything like us, you're locking in for events you only get to see on the biggest stage every 4 years. And that's why following the winter games on FanDuel just makes sense. From medal counts to individual events to finding your angle on the sports you care about most. FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action, the drama of curling, matches that start slow and somehow get intense fast, speed skating races decided by inches, hockey games that feel different right from the opening face-off. The winter games are on, and there's no better way to follow them than with FanDuel. FanDuel, play your game.
I'm Kalia Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. Dawn Staley and South Carolina remain on top of the SEC standings after handing Tennessee their worst defeat in program history with a final score of 93-40. In the 43-point win, South Carolina shot 69% from the field. Tessa Johnson had a perfect shooting night, scoring 24 points, shooting 4 for 4 from the floor, including 2 threes, and made all 4 of her free throws. And UCLA remains undefeated in Big Ten play, topping Michigan 69-66 as Player of the Year contender Lauren Betts put up a double-double, scoring 16 points, collecting 16 rebounds, and adding 5 assists and 3 blocks. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts the same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
We're coming to you live after Ohio State's 89-82 win over USC. It's a winnable game. It was a must-win game for the Buckeyes to get closer to being a team that is not just in the first 4 into the tournament, but it becomes a lock to make the NCAA tournament. This team is still searching for their first quad 1 win. They got a quad 2 win this evening over USC. And I look at USC. USC is, they got talent. They got talent, but it's kind of like Ohio State. Ohio State has talent, but overall, shooting ability and some of the other things that they do on the court, they're not one of the stronger teams in the Big Ten Conference. But you got a quad 2 win. That's big. That's huge. Momentum that you currently have right now, especially in the second half, late in the game. Hitting 4 of your last 5 shots in the game, you got to be very pleased with that. So how does Ohio State maintain the momentum heading into a quad 1 game on Saturday night on Valentine's Day? Do more of the same things they did in the second half. And when you look at the second half, it was more very specific, high energy and effort plays, working together as a well-oiled machine, a 5-man unit to slow down USC. A lot of it was also taking advantage of USC's poor shooting, where USC really didn't shoot well in the second half. Ohio State was getting the rebounds. They were using their length. Puff Johnson's defense was a problem at times for USC. It was just unfortunate that he had 4 fouls in the 15 minutes that he played, because if not, him getting back on the court after missing 2 games, that defense was very, very huge. The points are a bonus. He didn't really average that many points, and he was at Penn State a year during his time there. And so you know the defense is there. His 6'8" height and the wingspan, you know that's there. But now when you get the offense, that's an added bonus. And I think it's what you saw today. When the Buckeyes locked in on defense, things started flowing. Things started working better. John Lloyd Jr., I think, was in the first half. Took a really bad shot, a really bad 3. I'm thinking, what are you doing? I know you're trying to get your shot going, but what are you doing? And then later on, a little bit later on in the game, he went inside, got a mid-range jumper, saw the ball go through the hoop, and then his range started to get extended. His shot went down from 3. And those are the things that need to happen. The high energy and effort on defense that leads to easier baskets on offense. Don't try to just go deep and just take some shots just because you can. Try to get high percentage shots that are inside the 3-point line, mid-range, 15 to 18 feet on in, and make sure those are falling. And when those start to fall, utilize those to extend your range, but also be aggressive. The aggressiveness of Tilly driving to the hole to getting a layup in traffic was huge. Devin Royal, Amari Bynum, utilizing their height and their size to get key dunks in the paint and really kind of impose their will on the opposition. Those are big. Those are things that you did tonight against USC in a win that you need to do for the entire 40 minutes of the game on Saturday to potentially upset a top 25 team in the country. It's a game that I don't think they're going to win on Saturday night. But as everyone knows, we're not playing on the court. Well, I'm not playing on the court. I am not there. And when I'm not on the court, these words on this show and me literally saying, I don't think they're going to win the game, it's a Virginia win, that may be something that the Buckeyes use in their advantage to find a way to pull out a win because they can. I mean, Devin Royal has been, I won't say under fire, but he's been criticized for some of his play lately. 8 of 11 shooting from the field, 19 points, 7 rebounds. You have to love what he provides for you. He was also the team high in rebounds in this game. John Mobley Jr., better shooting, better decision-making. After making some bad decisions, his shot selection got better. You got to love that. Amari Bynum, anytime you get 11 plus from him and he matches his per-game average, that's a massive win. Bruce Thornton, he is the engine that makes this team go. When his shot wasn't falling, only 5 for 11, nothing crazy like the 8 of 11 from Devin Royal, but he knocked down all 11 of his shots from the charity stripe. Those are the things you need. The bench production. You need all of that every game to carry over into every game to make sure Ohio State has a shot to win, to make the NCAA tournament. An added bonus, a big reason why they won this game tonight, the Buckeyes made 24 of the 25 free throws. If you can do that, even with some of the other issues Ohio State has in games, if you can only miss one of 25 free throws you shoot in a game, you're going to be you're only contending and pushing to win more often than not. So those are just a few of the things. Jake Diebler, push the right buttons. Get the high energy, high effort that's always been preached that we see in clips in the preseason. Allow that to be a big factor now. Also, I don't know if this is possible between a Thursday practice and a trip to Nashville on Saturday night, but figure out how to get these boys to not get in foul trouble, because my goodness, I don't want to come on here Saturday night and discuss Tilly and Puff Johnson and other Buckeyes getting in foul trouble. There was even a discussion in the first half if not Devin Royal, Bruce Thornton was going to miss, I think it was the final 7 or 8 minutes due to having 2 fouls. Let's work on not having that happen, because if that doesn't happen, you're going to be in a great spot to potentially pull off a massive upset on Valentine's Day. Thank you all for tapping into this live reaction show to Ohio State's 89-82 win over USC. You should all be ecstatic and happy and excited that for the win. Any Buckeye win right now is huge, and the fact that they secured a big win, a quad 2 win before a quad 1 game on Saturday night is very, very big. You can follow me on any social media platform at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens317@gmail.com. This has been Locked on Buckeyes on a Wednesday night after Ohio State's 89-82 win over USC. We will talk to you tomorrow morning.